happy to be here today to present my master project. I'm sorry for my English. I'm a French speaker from Canada, so I will do my best. So my project is about the assessment of the Atlantic salmon smolt predation by the double-crested cormorant in the Restigouche River estuary that is located in Canada. Many partners make that project possible. The Restigouche River Watershed Management Council, the Atlantic Salmon Federation, and also the Atlantic Salmon Conservation Foundation. So let's begin. You're well aware of the problematic of cormorant here in Europe. For North America, we also have problem with double-crested cormorant. They have been increasing since the end of the 70s, after the banish of the DDT and the PCBs mainly. Their breeding sites are located inland. You see it in blue here, and also onshore. They will breed in marine, estuary, and also freshwater environment. Their wintering habitat are mainly in the south of the US. Also, you know that they are really opportunistic. Their diet covers a wide range of species and size of fish. So there's conflict that arise with fisheries and also with native birds when they decide to go inland to breed. Like here, we have a problematic because of human activities. In the wintering habitat in the south of US, there's catfish farming in the delta of Mississippi River. So during the winter, the cormorant are well fed, and they will come back really healthy to breed after in the north in great numbers. Also, other human activity that can occur is an example here in the St. Lawrence River between Quebec and Montreal. There's an enlargement of the St. Lawrence River called Lake Saint-Pierre, and there humans put some artificial rocky island to control the ice during the winter on the maritime way. So those perfect rocky island for cormorant are used by them, and now we have problem with yellow perch there that are threatened by the agricultural pollution and also by overfishing, and now cormorant are not helping by being there, so there's a shoot program oiling of eggs too that are tried there to for this problem, in fact. So if we continue, we also I hear about a story in the Great Lakes here in the past where fishermen went on colony and just shoot illegally birds there to make their point for the authorities. So that's things that happen. So my study is in this area here, just to okay, so the context is really general, in fact. Oops, sorry. There's a general decrease of the Atlantic salmon population. In the Restigouche River watershed, some studies shown that there was a lower smolt survival rate in the estuary and an increase also of the cormorants in the region. So here you have the Restigouche River watershed between Quebec and New Brunswick province. That's a watershed that covers an area of 12,000 kilometers square. And the colony that I study is really in the mouth of the river in the estuary here. That's called the Bonami Rock colony for the presentation here. Before 2000, there were no cormorant on this colony at all. They were more in another colony, I think 10 kilometers away from there. And now they are, there's more cormorants, so they are trying to find new breeding sites. And before, there were some trees also on this island. So the objective of the project was to apply a bioenergetic model to assess the impact of this colony on the smolts. And for that, we need to obtain the input parameters to put in the model. We did the study in 2014 and 2015. The local data that we tried to obtain was the colony size, the smolt abundance, the smolt size, and the percentage of cormorant diet comprised of smolts. And also we used some literature data, the daily energy intake by the cormorant, the small energy density too. So in fact, we're going to go through all those acquisition of local data in the presentation. So you're going to hear about also smolts, not just cormorant. For the colony size, we use that one nest is one breeding pair, so 2 adults. In 2014, we did a plain aerial survey and a field validation because the images were not really great, as you can see. And in 2015, we did a drone aerial survey that gives really better image. So it's really easy to look at the nest, and it's possible also to see if there's a bird that are not on nest, and we can stitch all the image together to do a panorama and be sure to not count 2 times the same nest. So we use just for now, those kind of drones are really cheaper than before, so it's really easy to use. So I encourage you, if you have the chance, to try it. So the colony size went really bigger, in fact, because we are before 2000, there's no birds. After, there was an estimation of 300 or 400, and it goes up and up to 2,000, more than 2,000 in 2015. But it's important to say here that this is the more accurate estimation that we have now. So it may be like a baseline for the future to monitor this colony. So it's sure that that's increasing, but it's maybe not that important in the last year. Okay, now for the smolt abundance, we use the rotary screw traps in the watershed. So you have here the colony, and all the purple circle are rotary screw trap. Now there's 5. Each year this study goes on. And we use the rotary screw trap because we have big river, really large, and without any barrier to count, natural one or artificial one. So it's really perfect for the needs here. We use the mark recapture method with the flug tag, and after there's a modelization with the Bayesian model that will give us the number. But here you have the estimated for all the previous years, but also 2014 here. There's great variation, as you can see. Sometimes it's difficult, in fact, because of the large river. The smolt wheels are really in the main channel, but you cannot have a big accuracy there. And sometimes natural events arrive also. Like in 2016, we have trees like that decide to go on the smolt wheel. And this is the dead body here of the smolt wheel after. So I hope it will never happen to one of your smolt wheels here. There's also an estimated smolt survival by the Atlantic Salmon Federation that use acoustic telemetry. With VR2s, there's the smolt are tagged here at the Kedgewick River, helped by the capture by the rotary screw trap. And after there's a gate at head of tide here, and Dalhousie Junction, Dalhousie and Shallow Line, and at Strait of Belle also. I will show you after. So mainly there's 80 smolt per year that are tagged with the V8. And after there's a modelization with the hierarchical Bayesian state space implementation of the CJC microcapture model. So if you want more information about that, I encourage you to talk with the next presenter, Jason Daniels, who know more than me about this. So basically, the smolt have 100 kilometers to do between the release sites and head of tide. They will do it between 2 to 6 days. And after, to reach shallow line here, it's basically the same distance, but they will take 5 to 10 days. And after, the Restigouche smolt needs to do 800 kilometers to reach Strait of Belle between Newfoundland and Labrador, and after go on the west coast of Greenland. So it's around 50 days of travel. The survival rate to the Restigouche River release site here through the head of tide look like that. It's between 70 and 90%. It's really good. And after, between head of tide and shallow line, those numbers go down a little bit. So between 60 and 80%. So now about the cormorant. The diet assessment was done with regurgitated pellets. That was the only way to do it. Previously, the study was supposed to be done with pit tags, but you will see that it maybe will not have been a good idea at that time. So we use the base that say that the cormorant will produce a pellet every 24 hours. The sampling occurred during the out-migration of the smolt during 6 weeks. A minimum of 60 pellets were collected each week, and fresh and intact pellets were targeted. So here, just to show you that we did the collection of the pellet during the time where the smolt were passing near the colony, you have the date of the release fish, the smolt that were tagged here. They were tagged at the Kedgewick River, smolt wheel. And the Dalhousie line is near the colony. So it will take about 6 days to reach this place, and after, they will pass after 10 days, approximately. So if we take the smolt run of the Kedgewick smolt wheel, here we see that we have 2 peaks of smolts. And if we take the beginning of the first one and the end of the last one, we have a window where we're going to find a lot of smolt near the colony. 2 of the sampling dates were really in the target here, and we can assume that with the other wheels and the other smolt of the watershed, those dates also will be good for that. So with the range of date, we can maybe see a variation in the diet with the smolt run. So 400 pellets approximately were recollected each year, and all the pellets were sorted to detect small totalites, and a subsample of 30 pellets per week were used to assess the diet with the identification of the otoliths, 2 species, and the otoliths were also paired left and right to have the number of fish. So with the result from the subsample of the pellet, just with that, we have 3,000 fish eaten and 400. So if we take in 2015 that each pellet cover a 24-hour period with the colony size, that will give us each day this number of fish that will be eaten by the colony. So it's quite a big number. Here you have the proportion of the numeric abundance of the fish on this subsample too. So what you can see here, there's many species, great variety, but there's some that are really more present in some period. So at the beginning we have a lot of rainbow smelts, and after the numbers of those fish goes down to be replaced mainly by winter flounder. And it's almost the same thing that will occur in 2015 here. We have also here in little pink color, capelin. Capelin are rolling on the shore at that time because that's the spawning time. So we can go with a bucket to take the fish, so the cormorant will also take the opportunity to eat them at that time. And also this is the period where the rainbow smelt will go up the river to spawn. And the winter flounder at that time also is spawning on the little bay. So it's why this is those fish that will be in the diet. If we look by year, we can see that it's really those species that are important, winter flounder and rainbow smelts, and also Atlantic tomcod. I don't know if you know what are tomcod here, but that's like a small gadzidae fish that will be fished on, mainly during winter on ice fishing in Quebec. If we take the occurrence of the fish in the pellets, what we have is that 60% of the pellets are containing winter flounder. More than 50% are containing also Atlantic tomcod and rainbow smelt. So this is really mainly the three species that are targeted by the cormorant at that time of the year. So, is there any Atlantic salmon smolt in those pellets? In fact, yes, but really not a lot. That's a good thing. 2 individuals were found in 2014 and 1 in 2015. So it's important also to say that pellets are not really a good way to have a diet, to have an idea of it, but to have the quantitative data, it's more difficult. We have the secondary consumption that can happen there, and also small otoliths can go through the cormorant and disappear, so we don't have a trace of that. So there are some small fish like stickleback that are not represented in the diet, but I've seen some myself on the colony, so that's a problem with this method. But Atlantic salmon small otoliths seems to be okay to be like detected on the pellets. I did not really run the bioenergetic model for now because the estimate of the smolt abundance is not really good. So I'm waiting for a better number. But before, the model was run with theoretical data for percentage of smolt in the diet to have an idea of the quantity of smolt that can represent the cormorant predation. So here what we have is, if, for an example, 20% of the diet was composed of smolts, 20 to 30% of the annual production in 2010, 11, and 12 could have been eaten by the cormorant. So, and I look at another model that was done also, and if it's only 1% of the diet, that is smolts, it can be like 10,000 smolt eaten per year with those production. So in conclusion, I will say that for the Bonamy Rock colony only, they are not a threat for the Restigouche Atlantic salmon smolts. For now. The cormorants are opportunistic feeders, so they will feed on the fish that are more present and easy to catch. The smolt are really present on a small window of time, so it's probably why we don't have a lot in the pellets. And there are so many more fish at that time that will pass there or stay there to spawn that it's like a protection, in fact, against the predation. An estuary is a really highly productive environment. Multiple prey choice are present, and other studies have shown also there's an overlap between the diet composition and the estuarine prey abundance. That's probably what's going on there for us, but I don't have the data for the fish that are present in the estuary at that time, so I cannot really evaluate that for now. And also, it's important to say that if we, in the future, the cormorant, it's possible that they will go inland if they don't have enough space on shore. And then if this happens, they can also target the pars and more easily the smolts, because the estuary of the Restigouche there is really large and deep. So it probably that the smolts are going deep enough to not be targeted by the cormorant. So that's the presentation.